Hello, thanks for joining us. Today, ENCORE is feeling the love for Valentine's Day. Starting with a romantic romp around Paris, the city of love. Next, we'll be getting kinky with 50 Shades of Grey, the bonkbuster film of choice for everyone on the 14th of February. And a bit of classic romance with Dirty Dancing on the Paris stage. Love it for its cheesiness or loathe it because you think it's a consumerist sham. It's that time of year when hearts and flowers are suddenly everywhere. As Paris is considered by many as the capital of romance, I've been wandering the streets trying to find some of the city's top hot spots.
But what about us?
You'll always have Paris. Oh, you should see your face.
What's the matter with it?
It's lovely.
When we played our charade.
The only true language in the world is a kiss. That's what French writer Alfred de Musset said anyhow. Whether it's with your partner or someone you only met last night, Paris puts a twinkle in the eyes of lovers. So what better place to get you in the mood for Valentine's Day?
No city but this, my friend, no city I know gives romance such a chance to grow and grow.
Just think of the writers, artists and filmmakers seduced by Paris. From French photographer Robert Douanet, who took the kiss in front of the town hall, and Willy Ronis, who snapped a couple overlooking Paris in the spring, to photographer Alison Harris and author David Downey, who met and married each other in the City of Light, both fascinated by the romance here.
We're on the site of where Eloise and Abelard met, and it's one of the most passionate romantic love stories of the Middle Ages.
You could say that it was a kind of proto-romantic Romeo and Juliet tale. It took place in the early 12th century. He was her tutor. He lived in the house. He was not supposed to fall in love with her. She got pregnant. They got in terrible trouble. Her uncle was the canon of Notre Dame Cathedral, and he essentially had his men emasculate him.
Then they were separated, and she ended up in a monastery. They wrote letters, and the correspondence to this day is considered one of the major correspondences in French literature.
You know, romanticism and romance often has a tragic element to it. But in a way, this has a happy ending. They were reunited 700 years later in this fabulous tomb, a chapel up in Père Lachaise Cemetery.
Inspired by such stories, Alison has photographed the City of Lovers hundreds of times. Her work in her book, Paris in Love.
Paris and romance have had a long love affair, and I think it actually really stems from the 19th century and from many of the artists that were working in Paris during that time. It was an amazing moment in Parisian cultural history.
And they call this Lover's Bridge, Pont Marie. Is it a romantic bridge, would you say?
I would think of it as a romantic bridge in a way because of a photo I took on the bridge. And I was crossing it one morning, and a graffiti artist had actually written right where we're standing the word love in all these different languages. It was a beautiful statement. And so there's love, amore, amour, and on and about, I don't know, at least 60 languages it seemed to me. And I was looking at it, and all of a sudden, coming from the opposite direction, this woman with red bottines, with little red boots, was walking very quickly across the bridge, and her red boots just walked right across this love decoration. Well, this is what I call my secret garden in the heart of the Marais, because we're in the Hôtel de Soubise grounds. And
Unbelievably right in the centre of Paris.
Right in the centre of Paris, in the 4th arrondissement. It's just, I find, a very peaceful place to come and sit down on a bench and read a book. I personally enjoy reading poetry, so I often come here and read poetry. But I can well imagine lovers coming here and having a tryst and ending up embracing passionately. It's just lovely to have this in the heart of a rather noisy and busy city. So this is my romantic spot in Paris.
The last time I saw Paris, her heart was warm and gay. I heard the laughter of her heart in every street cafe. The last time I saw Paris, her trees were dressed for spring. And lovers walked beneath those trees, and birds found songs to sing. Oh, there we go. Now, it's already hit cinemas in France, but 50 Shades of Grey is being released in the United States for Valentine's weekend. It's a Virginian girl meets bondage boy tale with more than its fair share of cheesy moments. Perfect fodder for this time of year. Claire Williams reports.
50 Shades of Grey tells the story of a young woman seduced by a rich man who's into sadomasochism.
My tastes are very singular. You wouldn't understand.
Enlighten me then.
The book and its sequels kicked off a worldwide phenomenon. In Berlin, where the film premiered, the stars hope the movie will have similar success.
I think at the very centre of it all is this love story, and we can't sustain 3 quite long books based on S&M sex alone. There has to be something that finds a way through it, you know, and it's a love story and it's these 2 characters.
I think that it's an incredible love story, and I think it's, you know, coupled with really interesting content.
After attending early screenings in the US, some of the book's fans said they were pleased with the film.
Incredible, the acting, the chemistry.
I think the way they portrayed the relationship between the 2 of them was just perfect.
Parodies of the film's trailer have been doing the rounds on social networks. Its raunchy subject matter apparently ripe for satire. The 50 Shades trilogy has received its fair share of criticism. Some accuse the books and film of glamorizing violence towards women. Its author says critics have got it all wrong.
I think generally women like a really good passionate love story, and this is about a very strong young woman who doesn't realise she's a strong young woman, and a guy who's fundamentally very, very fragile, and she fixes him up. I mean, isn't that what women all want to do with their men, you know? So it's a fantasy, let's face it.
Say I did stay.
Despite criticism, the story has been immensely popular. The books have been translated into over 50 languages and have sold 100 million copies.
Well, a more tried and tested tale of sex god meets naive young girl is the 1987 teen movie Dirty Dancing. It's 60s kitsch mixed with 80s soft-focus romance. The stage version has come to Paris and is playing at the Palais des Sports, as Julia Sager reports.
Wishing each other good luck before the show with a hip swing. Backstage, the director is there to encourage the show's 26 artists.
I'm very proud of you. Once again, I'm telling you this. I repeat myself every day. I don't care.
In just 5 minutes, they'll become the iconic characters of the musical Dirty Dancing. In the audience, 3,000 fans of the 1986 American romantic film have come to relive the coming-to-age drama. It documents a teenage girl's relationship with a dance instructor she encounters during her family's vacation. It's the summer of 1963. Frances, nicknamed Baby, discovers the resort's employees' secret after-hour parties and their rock and roll sessions. The film, starring Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey, quickly became a massive box office, with a soundtrack that rocked entire generations.
I was very young when I saw Dirty Dancing. It's a love story that was with me throughout my childhood. I've listened to the soundtrack my whole life, so being here today is just absolutely incredible.
Top chart songs and iconic movie lines.
It's just magical to see it again so many years later. We saw it over and over again.
I have the time of my life. And I owe it all.
The show is already sold out until the last performance on March 15th.
We're going to leave you with the film Love, Rosie, which tells the story of a young single mother and the man she's been in love with since the age of 5. It's in cinemas now. Remember our website, we're also on Twitter and Facebook. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this. Happy Valentine's Day.
We just keep missing each other.
I just need to know one thing. Are you happy with it?
Sometimes you don't see that the best thing that's ever happened to you is right under your nose. No matter where you are or who you're with, I will always, truly love you.
Can you hear me from 100 million miles away?
You're looking way too hot right now.
Reporters on France 24.
In India, there is a new type of jihad, the love jihad, or the love war. The aim? To seduce young Hindu women and convert them to Islam. The accusation is made by Hindu fundamentalists. According to them, dozens of women are being trapped and sometimes raped. Yet, neither the law nor the police acknowledge it is happening. Where does the truth lie?
Reporters on France 24 and France24.com.